What's going on, everybody? Devore and Shake Money. This is a dynamic duo this evening. This is the Not for Debate podcast. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button, and most definitely share. You can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and all other major platforms. This is our, I guess, NFL free agency frenzy pod. I know we had other plan. We already stated other plans, but we're gonna have to switch it up this evening. Shake, what's going on, man?
Another beautiful day in Zamunda. As much as I can get. Anyway, I feel like I don't know, man.
Okay,
Right?
so let me ask you this though, real fast, before you even get into anything, because I know you were like chopping at the bit as far as your disappointment in your team's current free agency moves. Because me personally, free agency is probably one of my favorite events during the course of the off season. Like I think I like it so much better than the draft, honestly. But better than the draft, the combine, the pro days. Free agency is where my computer is, my eyes are locked to my computer or my phone. And every time my phone goes off, I'm expecting something huge to happen for my team. But I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you as far as why are you so disappointed in your team? And for those that don't know, Shake is a Miami Dolphins fan.
Yes, I am. Well, first of all, I have nothing against Vince Beagle, even though I said fuck him. But no, it's like you let go Grugier Hill, he was a very versatile linebacker. He was and special teams guy. I understand the Kyle Van Noy thing, but I don't get. I think there was a little more. I think there was better linebackers to be had than Vince Beagle. I think Vince Beagle played well because when he played in 2019, can you name another linebacker that was pretty decent
for the Dolphins at that time? For the Dolphins at the time, right?
Yeah.
In 2019? No. What? No.
So of course
Taco Charlton and Charles Harris.
Yeah. So of course he's gonna look like a fucking stud. You know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is, man. And again, I had like Ian Rappaport, and four other guys that whatever on all notifications. And every time I get a notification, not the Dolphins. Even the Rams, there were $30 million under the salary cap is making moves.
So okay, let me ask you this: who are you expecting the Dolphins to sign?
To be honest with you, anybody.
Well, considering the circumstances, me personally, I'm just sitting here waiting patiently. I'm okay with what's going on so far. Free agency. There's one particular trade that I'm looking for, and there's one particular signing that I'm looking for. As far as the signing, Hassan Riddick, the linebacker / defensive end, the ex Arizona Cardinal. I was expecting that move to happen sometime soon, but we'll see. We'll see. And you already know what the trade I'm looking for is. Obviously, Deshaun Watson. Now, picking up Jacoby Brissett, that kind of scrambles my brain a little bit as far as what are the Dolphins doing, but I'm cool right now. I'm content.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna probably let's go ahead and talk about another quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. So the Miami Dolphins ex-quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick.
But before you do, I just want to say this, and being a Dolphins fan, just because I say F the Dolphins and swear at the Dolphins doesn't mean I'm going to stop rooting for the Dolphins. I'll get over it. I'm just in an angry period right now. By tomorrow, I forget everything done happened and I'll be fine. You know what I mean?
That's understandable.
As all Dolphin fans are. So just take what I say with a grain of salt. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's definitely understandable. Shout out to Cameron in the chat, by the way. What I was gonna say? Oh yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Excuse me. So the Washington football team ended up signing Ryan Fitzpatrick to a 1-year, $10 million deal. Now I feel like me and you and possibly Havoc are possibly the most qualified to evaluate this signing for the Washington football team. For those that don't know, because the narrative of a Ryan Fitzpatrick is he's just a journeyman, he's just a bridge quarterback, he's a turnover machine, and I beg to differ. I have totally different thoughts about Ryan Fitzpatrick as far as him being as a quarterback. But let me go ahead and hear your thoughts on Ryan Fitzpatrick as far as his tenure in Miami, the most recent team that he's been on.
I tell you what, people like him because he was memorable. He's kind of like Ezekiel from Friday, you know what I mean? You know, he was one of those guys that you like, he was a crackhead, but at the end of the day, he was one of the memorable characters in Friday, you know what I mean? He was like kind of like a lovable character, even though he was a crackhead, you know what I mean? So I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick, he was a very likable guy, and you know what I mean, and that's probably what happened, you know. But what I heard today, someone say that the reason they like Fitzpatrick to Washington is because Heineke plays with a similar style as Ryan Fitzpatrick, so he'll be like kind of like the perfect mentor for him.
That would have to mean that the Washington football team are sold on Taylor Heineke as their future starter, correct?
Yeah, but you never know, man. I mean, they're too. I think what they're gonna do is, I think they're gonna address. I don't think they're gonna address quarterback first round. I think they're going to get somewhere, either the defense or offense. I mean, either second. I think they're gonna get wide receivers or offensive line help, in my opinion. That's something like that. I don't think they're gonna address quarterback.
Well, we're looking at their Washington football team's current quarterback situation. There is no doubt in my mind that Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to win the job with Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke. Those are the only two quarterbacks currently sitting in Washington right now. So there's no doubt in my mind that Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to get the job. Now, the main question that a lot of folks have is he going to win them? Is he going to take them to a NFC East divisional title? Do you believe that?
I don't think so. But anything's possible. Who would have thought Nick Foles would have taken the Eagles to a Super Bowl during that playoff? I'll never forget that run. Every game they were the underdog. After during the playoffs, the first game they were underdogs. The second game they were underdogs. The third game they were underdogs. In the Super Bowl they were underdogs. So stranger things have happened.
That's true. I believe Ryan Fitzpatrick can take them, lead them to an NFC East title if they do address the offensive line and the receiver position. Now, looking at the Washington football team's roster currently right now, I feel like their window as far as making a strong Super Bowl run is 2021 and 2022. Especially on defense, where you established your front four with, Ioannidis, Jonathan Allen, you had Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, Chase Young, who should have won Rookie of the Year the 2020 season. So their window of opportunities is right now. Like I said, they're going to have to establish the wide receiver position, because just having Terry McLaurin is the only weapon that they have right now as far as receiver. And of course, they have Logan Thomas, the converted quarterback to tight end, which I really think he's going to make a huge jump with Ryan Fitzpatrick under center because he loves throwing to the tight end. Them adding a Kenny Galladay or possibly everybody's favorite right now is the versatile Curtis Samuel. I feel like that's definitely a move that needs to happen. But looking at the NFC East right now, I don't see the Philadelphia Eagles being a threat. I don't see. Oh, it's just the Philadelphia Eagles. The Dallas Cowboys, I'll probably say they're about 4, maybe 5 pieces away from being serious contenders, and that would be on defense. And the Giants, I like the Giants. I really do like the Giants, especially defensively. And then if they add another weapon on offense, I feel like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I could agree with you on that. The thing about, like you said about the Cowboys, I like the Dallas Cowboys offense. I think that this is going to be Mike McCarthy's second year, and Kellen Moore's second year. So I think the offense, but I think it doesn't matter how many points you score on offense. If the defense outscores you every time, you ain't gonna win. You ain't gonna win too many ball games that way.
Absolutely. Just Dallas, as far as offensively, you're still going to have to rely on Dak Prescott to put up those points too as well. So that's a question mark for me too. Like, I know I've been getting a lot of heat as far as my opinion of Dak Prescott, but still he's coming off of a severe leg injury, and you don't know what kind of quarterback you're going to get going into the 2021 season. Now, as far as we're 2 days in free agency right now. Give me your biggest free agency winner so far.
All right. Besides the New England Patriots, I'm gonna have to say Jaguars. Man, they got Shaquille Griffin, in that already stout defense. And I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know they picked up a few good players. And they added wide receiver Jones. Can you hear me?
Yeah, repeat what you said. What team you said was the biggest winner? I couldn't even hear.
It was Jacksonville Jaguars. They added the Shaquille Griffin from Seattle. They added Marvin Jones, and they already had great players with Josh Allen, the cornerback they drafted last year. I forgot what his name was. Damn it, I can't think of his name, but you know what I'm talking about. The cornerback from Florida. So, I mean, they had some good players. They were just young, and they just needed, with this coaching staff, they're gonna do really well. That's why I like the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You're probably gonna be surprised at what my answer is gonna be. Is most definitely the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, ain't nothing like to back your own players.
I agree.
You bring 100%. Back Gronk for a 1 year, $10 million deal. You bring back Shaq Barrett. You bring back Levante David. Who was the other player they ended up? Oh yeah, you end up franchise tagging Chris Godwin. So for them to, all right, let's go ahead and try to win a second Super Bowl. That's an excellent start for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for them to be serious contenders again in 2021, is keeping the team together.
The reason I say them is because I'm talking about teams that got new players. That's what how I was looking at it. But I agree with you.
Teams that got good. Oh, so you said New England and
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. See, my only problem with New England, because I really like the Jonnu Smith move. I felt like he was very underused in Tennessee, especially because obviously Derrick Henry is the focal point of the offense, so he's going to take a bulk share of the offense. But him going to New England working with Cam Newton is going to be huge. He's going to really be able to showcase what he can actually do as a receiver. And then them adding Hunter Henry, which I'm not the biggest Hunter Henry fan, but I know he could be a valuable option for the New England Patriots. So expect to see a lot of 2 tight end sets for the New England Patriots. But as far as everybody else that ended up getting signed by the New England Patriots outside of Devon Gottschalk, because I feel like that was a good pickup for them too, considering the fact last year in 2020, Gottschalk was one of the best defensive linemen as far graded wise before he ended up getting hurt. Outside of that, Jalen Mills, the ex-Philadelphia Eagle, I'm not really sold on that signing. I feel like their secondary was already stacked. Like he's going to be coming in as like a third or fourth guy, possibly depending on what they do with Stephon Gilmore.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson Aguilar, he's a slot guy at best.
And he doesn't have short hands either because
doesn't have short hands. Yes.
Yeah, the only game he had good was against the Dolphins. That was it.
Yeah, that was it. So like I'm trying to think off the top of my head who else the New England Patriots ended up signing.
Did you say Bourne?
Oh yeah, Kendrick Bourne. Okay, Kendrick Bourne from the San Francisco 49ers. I like him. I really do like Kendrick Bourne, but still an unproven guy. So with that being said,
but see, this is what I think is going to happen in New England, especially with the defense. I've seen this happen many times with Belichick. The first year they're going to play decent. Second year they're going to step it up, and the third year that's when they're going to light it up because that's what happened with Kyle Van Noy, Collins, Dante Hightower. The first couple of years they were gelling together, and in the third year when they finally gelled, they were playing lights out defense. So I don't think they're gonna play well, but I don't think they're gonna be up to their full capability till maybe like next year or the year after. And that's a scary thought.
Well, I ain't really too invested in what's going to happen 2 or 3 years from now. I'm more invested in what the Dolphins are doing compared to counter what they're doing with the New England Patriots are doing right now.
Well, one thing real quickly is one of the things that I hear a lot is how, and I think that's what Miami is doing. What New England used to do when they had Tom Brady was they'd wait till all the smoke's clear and then get all the players, all the good players that they could mold and fit in their system at a dirt cheap price. And I think that's what Miami is trying to do.
At the end of the day, since everybody's following the Patriot way, you see Bill Belichick is out there spending the money. Now, how he is spending it, I'm not 1,000% agreeing with that. But at the same time, at least he's, Robert Kraft. He pulling out the checkbook and be like, okay, I can sign off on this, I can sign off on that. But there are some questionable moves that are doing. I feel like some of these moves are like more win now type moves, like the pass rusher from the Baltimore Ravens. Not Pernell McPhee. What is his name?
Mm-hmm. All I know is he's spending his money like he got like it's a stimulus check.
Yeah, like these are like legitimate win now moves that the New England Patriots are doing right now. And I'm not concerned just yet because they haven't really added somebody that puts fear in me as a Miami Dolphins fan yet. Well, Jonnu Smith kind of does put fear in me because he's a matchup nightmare. But outside of Jonnu Smith, I'm not really concerned. But I did want to touch on the New Orleans Saints because earlier this week, Drew Brees did announce that he was retiring. So it left the New Orleans Saints with 2 options. Now, they restructured Taysom Hill's contract, and they ended up bringing back Jameis Winston I believe it was a 1 year, $2 million, $12 million deal. Who do you think is going to end up being the winner of the New Orleans Saints starting quarterback job?
I'm gonna go against the grain here and say Taysom Hill.
You
Everybody was
lost your
saying,
mind. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
yeah, dude. First of all, let me start by saying I never had one, so you can't lose what you never had. And secondly, the reason I say that is because he to me Taysom Hill is like that Steve Young, okay, who's been sitting behind a Joe Montana all these years, and that's what pretty much he groomed him. If he wasn't going to be the starter, he would have let him go a long time ago, man. That's what they brought him to groom. So eventually he was going to air Aaron Rodgers. Or not Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, eventually.
I've seen enough from Taysom Hill. It's time for Jameis to get his opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with you because let me tell you something. I seen the other day that there's Drew. All right. Drew Brees, right?
Okay.
Peyton Manning.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of the order. Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay.
Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Ben Roethlisberger. And the most yards. You know who's behind him? Jameis Winston.
Yeah, he had like what 5,000 something yards.
He's fifth in all-time passing yards. So he obviously had, and you know, being that I'm a Florida Gator, man, I knew firsthand what a good talent that Jameis Winston is. It was that freaking I hate to say this, but it was Bruce Arians, no risk it, no biscuit mentality that made him throw all those interceptions. He was just doing what he was told to do. And truth be told, I think he helped make Chris Godwin and Evans who they were because he's the one who's slinging the rock all the time and, you know, making them look good.
So you don't
Taking
think
those risks.
So you don't think Jameis Winston has a chance of dethroning Taysom Hill the starting quarterback job? Because I think it's already before we even hit training camp, I think that it's already set in stone that Taysom Hill is going to be the starter, which I think Jameis is the better talent.
I know. Listen, if you're asking me, I would start Jameis Winston, but it's not what I would do. You asked me who I think they will start, and that's what I think. I think that Peyton's probably a little higher on him than we are, because again, Taysom Hill is his pet project, and Taysom Hill is somebody that's been grooming for years. Drew Brees just didn't retire fast enough. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
But I'm just not a fan of Taysom Hill. Like his arm strength is questionable. And like I just feel like once you contain him and keep him in the pocket, he is I ain't even gonna say mediocre. I would say probably below average quarterback, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
Like if you just go back and look at the playoffs, the playoff game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who threw the only touchdown in that game? It was Jameis Winston. You didn't see Taysom Hill come in and throw those touchdown passes. So I just hope the New Orleans Saints end up giving Jameis Winston the opportunity this year in 2021, because I feel like that is just wasted talent on the bench. Like 30 touchdowns and 5,000 yards are a hard achievement to accomplish. And for Jameis to do that's huge. Now, if you want to talk about 30 touchdowns, I really don't want to read too much into the 30 touchdowns because due to the circumstances, like you said, the no risk it, no biscuit mentality that Bruce Arians has, also the lack of running game that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had, and also the offensive line was a little bit of an issue when Jameis Winston was behind center. So I really don't read too much into the 30 interceptions, but them 30 touchdowns and then 5,000 yards, like that's huge. That legitimately is huge. I did want to touch on two more quarterback signings. I want to touch on two more quarterback signings real quick, right? So
before we do, before you do go,
Okay.
and that's what I try to tell you. I try to tell you with Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Listen, there's things Lamar Jackson could be all Lamar Jackson's problems, and same thing with Jameis Winston problems be coached. It's not it's not a physical thing. Everything that's wrong with both of them could be coached, and that's why I agree with you 100% on Winston. I think Winston's issues could be coached. Those interceptions could be everything that's wrong with him is correctable. In other words, so I think with the right offensive mind like Sean Payton, I think he's going to do extremely well if he gets his opportunity.
I can't believe you just took this back to Lamar Jackson again.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lamar
anyway,
Jackson,
go ahead.
30 seconds of Lamar Jackson, right? So I have no problem. I didn't never said that Lamar Jackson was a bad player. For those that are in the chat that think that I think he's a bad player, like I feel like he's an electrifying player. I love watching Lamar Jackson play, but as far as being a quarterback, it's just not there for me yet. Like as far as him making a 3 to 5 step drop and making the accurate pass, going through your progressions, I don't see that yet. So can it be taught? Yes, it can to an extent, but accuracy is an issue with Lamar Jackson. If we're being honest, we'll see. I'll just leave it at that. As we'll see. We ain't gonna make this
Okay.
Lamar Jackson debate this evening. But two more quarterbacks I did want to touch on. As far as meaning, I did want to start off with Andy Dalton signing that 1-year deal, $10 million with the Chicago Bears. Does that make the Chicago Bears contenders?
All right. Let me start off by saying that I don't think Andy Dalton is a bum. Okay. I know we had a conversation in the private chat, but at the end of the day, no, I think I don't know. I think that he is a good quarterback, but unfortunately, again, it's about putting him in the right system. Can Matt Nagy, who's going to be calling the plays, Matt Nagy or Bill Lazor? What kind of receivers are they going to put him around? Because give him, and are
Right.
they going to get a good run game? No, those are my concerns. I'm not concerned about Andy Dalton. My concern is the weapons they're going to place around him, and what kind of I don't know. I didn't see chemistry with him in the Cowboys. That's why I think he didn't look so well. If that makes any sense. There was no chemistry between them.
It makes perfect sense. Him coming in as the backup, nobody was expecting him to be the starter. He ain't Dak, who's been there for the past 4 years. There obviously were some drop passes that nobody wants to point out that the Dallas Cowboys did have. Turnovers, like your boy Joe was on here last week. We was discussing about Ezekiel Elliott, his decline in play. If I'm just saying, as far as looking at the 2020 season for Andy Dalton, if he would have got the Ezekiel Elliott that Dak Prescott have gotten over the years, I feel like they would have won this division no problem. And also, if the defense was halfway decent, where they didn't end up giving up, I think it was like on average like 29 points a game, something like that. So, and also there were injuries on the offensive line. So it's yet to be determined what coulda, shoulda, woulda as far as the Dallas Cowboys and Andy Dalton. But I'm just speaking from the perspective as you looking at the NFC North right now. Obviously the Packers, Vikings, and Bears. Who's the other team? Lions. Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears. Like, do you see? Do you see the Chicago Bears being contenders? Because last year in 2020, they were in the playoff hunt with Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you still got to remember that Chicago has a top 5 defense, and Chuck Pagano is a great defensive mind.
Right.
And secondly, again, I think it's and see, this one thing I hate is Andy Reid is an anomaly, and what I mean by that is I don't think he calls plays anymore. But the thing I hate when coaches try to call their own plays, and I think Matt Nagy smartened up and let Bill Lazor call the plays. That's why they had success. If you're going to be a head coach, be the head coach. Forget about play calling. You know what I mean? Because you got to focus on the whole team and not just the offense. And I think that's what's going to happen with a lot of these coaches that are calling plays. Head coaches are calling plays. That's going to be their downfall eventually. You know,
I can agree with that. I can agree. Like, if you bring in an offensive coordinator, let the offensive coordinator call the plays. Like, if you bring in a defensive coordinator, let the defensive coordinator call the plays. You can look over their shoulder and be like, look over their shoulder and be like, hey, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, you can do that. But at the end of the day, like, you better, you know what I'm saying? Like, let the defensive coordinator call the plays, let the offensive coordinator call the plays, and let that be that. But
and you know, the other Bill Belichick, Bill Belichick is considered one the greatest defensive mind of all time, and he doesn't even call his defensive plays. He lets other people call the defensive plays. I should tell you something.
That's debatable for me. That is very, very debatable, because that year they won the Super Bowl against the Rams. That was 2019. No, 2018. They had Brian Flores. He was the linebackers coach, and they made him the defensive play caller. Now, here's where I'm confused at. How do you have a defensive coordinator that's their job to call plays, and you have your linebackers coach calling plays? That's where I'm confused at. So you can say that Brian Flores, okay, we're going to beefing up your resume. We're going to say that you called the plays for you to get a job.
No, I disagree with that, because Steve Belichick wasn't the defensive coordinator last year, and he called plays as well.
That's interesting. So what's the point of defensive coordinator?
I have no idea. He was probably the defensive coordinator. He was probably, but he got Brian Flores got the title de facto defensive coordinator, and so did Steve Belichick. As a matter of fact, that's why they brought in back Matt Patricia, because they didn't have a defensive coordinator for those 3 years that Matt Patricia was gone.
Well, that's very, very, very interesting, to be completely honest with you. That's so. Do you give Brian Flores the credit of calling the plays, though? Do you think he really was the one that was calling the plays?
Here's what I think happened. All right, Bill Belichick. Let's say they're playing the Rams, right? Says, all right, listen, Flores, I want you to focus on zone. I want you to focus on this, eliminate this player. I want you to, man coverage. I want you to stick Gilmore on this guy, and I want you to he gave him kind of like an instruction of what to do, and then let Brian Flores take it from there. I think it was a 50-50 partnership. Like, he gave him the game plan. This is what I want you to call at this, not on certain situations, but this is the game plan I want you to do. Heavy zone, man coverage, blitz here on third down. You know what I mean? And then Brian Flores carried it out. If that makes any sense.
Okay, so just to back up the truck for a second, as far as defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, they didn't have one in 2018. They just gave it to Brian Flores, the linebackers coach, and made him the defensive play caller. So that's that. I do agree with you as far as, like, it goes back to the whole thing about Bill Belichick looking over their shoulder, making sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. Like, this is my defense, your representation to me. Make it look good. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go ahead and just leave that at that. Now, The other quarterback signing I did want to go over was the Houston Texans signing Tyrod Taylor to this 1 year, $12.5 million deal. Well, I want to hear your thoughts on that. Does this reek of a potential Deshaun Watson trade?
Doesn't necessarily have to be to Miami though.
I know. I'm not saying that. Did I say, does this reek of a Deshaun Watson trade to Miami? I said, does this reek of a Deshaun Watson trade?
But I know what you're thinking though.
No, you don't know what I'm thinking.
I know.
I'm thinking.
I do know.
I'm thinking he gonna get traded. That's what I'm thinking.
Because and let me tell you something right quick. Tyrod Taylor, to me, is the most underrated player in the NFL right about now. He took the Bills to the playoffs with a 9-7, and he would have had more games under his belt. But for some reason, I have no idea why the Bills sat him down a couple of games and went with that quarterback. I can't think of his name that was with him at the time. Damn it. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope. Don't pay attention to the Bills unless we're playing them and we beating the crap out of them.
Well, anyway, they sat him down for a couple of games. The Bills lost those games, and they put back in Tyrod Taylor because they realized that Tyrod Taylor gave him a better chance to win. And I think Tyrod Taylor is a good quarterback. Unfortunately, I don't know. He just had bad luck.
I got mixed feelings about Tyrod Taylor. He's sitting in the seat right next to Teddy Bridgewater. To be completely honest with you, he's more of an improvisation type of quarterback where pockets broke. We gotta figure some stuff out. Let's just get the ball out of our hands and find the open guy. That's the kind of quarterback that I see Tyrod Taylor being. But as far as talented wise, as far as mobility, yes, I like Tyrod Taylor. Now, as far as passing the football, that's a little bit iffy for me. But to answer my own question, for $12 million, you're not sitting no Tyrod Taylor on no bench.
Mm-hmm.
Like you gotta, he's coming in to be a starter. So I'm thinking that Deshaun Watson trade might be coming down the pike. Now, hopefully, when I wake up tomorrow morning, I see that headline, and then I could probably, I'll probably run around the neighborhood butt naked or something if it says the Dolphins traded for Deshaun Watson. I'm waiting for that shit. You already know I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, no. I'm looking up the roster because it's gonna drive me crazy if I don't. Hold on.
You said it's gonna drive you crazy.
Yeah. What was that name of the quarterback that they sat him down for?
Let me ask you this because I don't know. Well, never mind. I'm gonna wait till we end up getting to the next segment before I end up. I'm gonna wait till we get to the next segment because this is gonna be one of my biggest. It's gonna be it piggybacks off the next segment, so I'm gonna go ahead and just let you do what you do. But as far as other teams that end up making some big moves, the Giants signing back Leonard Williams, I felt like that was a good move. What else we got up here? Yeah, just to go back to the free agency winners, I just felt like it just comes back down to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers again. Like you can't top back. You bring back your own players that you won a Super Bowl with. Now, Antonio Brown, that one's yet to be determined, but I think they're trying to make a strong push at Odell Beckham at this point. Like that'd be crazy if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers end up getting Odell Beckham to team up with Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans. And then you bring him back Gronk, and then I don't know what the health status of OJ Howard is going to be, but that'd be crazy. Like that would be crazy. That's probably why they're holding off on that Antonio Brown signing, because I think they're working behind the scenes as far as trying to get a Odell Beckham Jr. You figure out who it was yet?
Let me throw another one. No, not yet. I'm looking at, but I'm gonna throw another one at you. How would you feel if it was whatchamacallit, when he went to Odell Beckham went to New England?
We'd be screwed. Like I like Odell Beckham as a player.
Okay, Nathan Peterman.
I thought Nathan Peterman came in after the fact of Tyrod Taylor, probably around the rookie season of Josh Allen, because of him throwing them 2 games where he had multiple picks thrown.
No, I'm looking at the 2017 depth chart. It's Tyrod Taylor and Nathan Peterman.
Okay,
that's what it was. They put him in there for they took him out. They pulled him out because he was winning. Tyrod Taylor was winning, and all of a sudden they take him out and they start putting Nathan Peterman in, and it's like then they switch back, because one of the favorite things I love to do. The reason I know about Buffalo is because I follow Fitzpatrick, whatever, and whenever they lose, I just love going on their channel and watching them complain all day.
Right. Back to Odell. Like, I know Odell has had a rough last couple of seasons, but don't get me wrong, that dude is talented. Like, there's not many receivers in the league right now that I would take over Odell. Maybe Julio, maybe DeAndre Hopkins. Outside of that, I don't think I'm taking any other receiver over Odell right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe I'm missing somebody, but Odell's just ability just to catch any type of route. He's a beautiful route runner. That's number one. And then when he catches the ball, like he could take any route to the house. Any route.
Mm-hmm. Odell Beckham reminds me of that bratty little kid that just needs a James Evans father figure.
Right. So
you know what I mean?
If they did get him, like that'd be hard for me to handle. I don't think I can handle that.
But the Patriots, I think that could be a possibility too, because like, you know what, you could have our first round draft pick, because at the end of the day, whoever we're gonna pick at 15 isn't gonna be as good as Odell Beckham.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't think Odell's going to end up going for no first round draft pick either, because he's damaged goods at this point. Like,
I'm just telling you that's what Belichick would be able to pay. Would have no problem paying that. But I understand where you're coming from.
Well, in that case, the Miami Dolphins should go ahead and give up one of them draft picks. He only 27 years old. Like, at this point, everybody should be in the market for Odell Beckham Jr. Everybody. That's how much of a talent Odell Beckham is. But the only problem with that is he's just damaged goods. That's the only problem that I have with Odell Beckham. Like, you're going on what? This is his 4th season that he's been hurt. So you haven't got a full 16 game season out of Odell Beckham since his time with the Giants. So that's a big, huge concern. So I at this point, I'm probably thinking you probably would get Odell for a third, a couple of thirds, maybe. Like, I don't see no headline for no first round draft pick coming across the screen for an Odell Beckham. It's more like of a what the Oakland Raiders did with Randy Moss to the Patriots. It was probably one of them lower draft picks that they end up giving up for a Randy Moss. But I did want to go ahead and move on to the final topic was the biggest loser of NFL free agency thus far.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me look at some teams real quick.
Now, me personally, I was gonna go ahead and roll with the Tennessee Titans. It was the Tennessee Titans for me because they recently just released Adoree Jackson. They end up signing like Bud Dupree to like a 4-year, $80 million deal. Like, are you insane? Like that's crazy. Like, understandably, 2020, the Tennessee Titans had issues stopping anybody. And pass rush was a big, huge problem for them. But for you to bring in a Bud Dupree who is not a alpha pass rusher for $80 million, just to confirm that. Yeah, $80 million. That's crazy to me. And then, like I said, you end up losing Corey Davis to free agency. You end up losing Jonnu Smith in free agency. Like, those were some pivotal pieces. Right.
Those are Tannehill's best weapons.
Yeah, you end up losing Tannehill's best weapons. And then, like I said, on defense, you end up losing Adoree Jackson. You cut Malcolm Butler. So your secondary right now is looking pretty naked, if you ask me. Kenny Vaccaro gone. So really, you just right now sitting in the secondary for the Tennessee Titans right now is Kevin Byard. That's the only defensive back that the Titans have right now. So I feel like they're the biggest loser so far in free agency, to be completely honest with you.
What about Oakland?
I don't know what Oakland is doing.
Las
Vegas. Vegas. Yes, Vegas. I don't know. I don't know.
They just cut their starting center.
Oh, Hudson. Maybe they're trying to get younger at the position. I don't know what they're doing, to be completely honest with you. Like, I'm done trying to figure out what Vegas is doing, because it goes back to what they did 2 years ago when they ended up drafting Clinton Farrell over Josh Allen in the draft, the 2019 draft. They ended up drafting Clinton Farrell over Josh Allen, and then they ended up like there were some issues where they ended up sending this whole draft staff home at one point in time, and then like it's just one big old mess with the Las Vegas Raiders. And all the Raiders fans can do right now is just sit back and be patient, because you have the head coach, what's his name? John Gruden, he's locked in for like several more years. So you really can't really say anything, but I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him.
And I don't, because those are all his decisions. It's not like he has nobody but blame but himself.
That's true. 1,000%. 1,000%. Trying to think of another team that possibly I don't think there's a team that really tops the Tennessee Titans right now as far as what they're doing. And another thing, like, I know this was last week, the Dolphins ended up making a trade with the Tennessee Titans for Isaiah Wilson, the offensive tackle. I feel like the Tennessee Titans end up being the losers. Now, thinking about it now, maybe there's some underlying issue that Isaiah Wilson is having right now, that the Tennessee Titans know about Isaiah Wilson, and they're just not telling the Dolphins that it's going to come into fruition later. But it's very, very hard for me to believe that the Tennessee Titans end up giving up a former first-round pick. I believe it was the 27th pick in the 2020 draft. And you end up trading him to the Miami Dolphins, and you just swap 7th-round draft picks. Like, that don't make no sense to me. But that ends up going into the category of why the Tennessee Titans are the biggest losers in free agency right now. You signed Bud Dupree to an $80 million deal, which is crazy. That's crazy. Like,
And
I
what
feel
about
like
Baltimore? Who?
Baltimore, I would. They end up bringing back Bowser back. They signed Kevin Zeitler on the offensive line.
They lost
I really,
Ngakwe. They lost.
Ngakwe. I feel like he was going to end up leaving anyway because he really did not contribute well to the for the Baltimore Ravens last year. Obviously, he wasn't on the team at the beginning of the season. He started off with the Minnesota Vikings. So they can't. They're not topping the Titans. They can't top the Titans. I don't think nobody's topping the Titans right now as far as the biggest free agency loser right now. I can't. There's nobody else that tops them. So, any other team you got off the top of your head?
I'm looking at some teams now, and hold on, I'm looking at the standings, right? And then what's the other team that I said? You know what's even shocking? I'm not saying they're losers or winners, but even Texans, at least they're making moves, regardless of they're getting some pretty good key nice role players. I want to say they're shake the world players, but they're getting some nice role players to fill up that roster. And no Chargers, man, I got mad because they got the center that I wanted from Green Bay.
Okay, so let me before we close this thing out, because Corey Linsley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want Corey Linsley?
Why? Because he's probably like the best center in the NFL right about now.
Okay, so here's my thing with that. I'm not going to necessarily say you, but I'm going to say Dolphins fans in general are so invested on holding on to draft picks, but you guys don't want to let these draft picks play. So why can't we just give Dieter a shot, please?
I agree with you, but
I'm just saying, like, give my man a shot. Like 2019, I feel like that was a bad situation that he was placed in, and I feel like the offensive line has plateaued so much since the 2019 season. I feel like you can plug him in. You're not going to probably get the best center in football, but there's a reason why you spent a third round pick, and I believe he was projected to be a second round pick. So with that being said, like, you just having a third round pick, just ride the bench. It's versatile enough, can play guard, can't play center. So give him his opportunity. Much cheaper option.
I'm gonna say something that'll probably make you smile, but here's the thing. All right, a center like Dieter will be better for Deshaun Watson, because at the end of the day, when you have one thing I'm learning about the quarterback position and the center position, why the center position is so important for a rookie quarterback, is because a center, especially one with experience, that's why I think they got the guy from New England, could help point the protection. He's kind of like a guy that gonna help. He's kind of like the quarterback for the offensive line. He's the one that's gonna. If you have an inexperienced quarterback, the center is gonna tell him where the blitz is coming from, where it is gonna help him make his protection better. If that makes any sense, you know what I mean. Someone like you have a rookie center and you have a veteran quarterback, you really don't need a center with that help. You know, rookie center, veteran quarterback, veteran center. That's why he's going to be important for and what's the quarterback for the Chargers, Justin Herbert, because he's going to help Justin Herbert identify where the blitz is coming from and things of that nature.
Yeah, I felt like that was a good pickup for the Chargers, most definitely. But I want Dieter to have his shot.
Yeah.
regardless of who the quarterback is, I want Dieter to have his shot.
But I do too. But as a guard,
Why not? Why not a center?
why not a guard?
There's no space at guard. Like once we end up cutting,
I'd rather have him play guard next to Hunt.
what about Solomon Kinley?
Solomon Kinley's on the left.
So who's on the right?
So Dieter and Kinley, Dieter and Hunt, Kinley and then Kinley and Austin Jackson will be on the left.
Kinley and Austin Jackson on the left, Dieter and Hunt on the right. So you want Hunt at tackle?
Well, that's what he was playing last year.
No, he's going to guard. He's a better guard. I want him at guard. He was projected to be an all-star guard. Let him play guard.
Again,
and then let Isaiah Wilson come in and play the position that he was drafted at. Tackle. Mm-hmm. Let him play tackle.
The right tackle, right?
Right tackle. Let him play right tackle.
I can see that.
Yeah, so any final thoughts before we end up closing this thing out, man?
No, not much. As always, thank you for letting me vent my frustrations about the Miami Dolphins. And hopefully we'll have a full house tomorrow.
Oh, you mean Saturday?
You're not coming on Wednesday?
Well, it depends. Like if something big happens between now and tomorrow, then yeah,
because tomorrow is the official free agency day.
Yeah, tomorrow's the official free agency day. So if something happens tomorrow where like catches my eye, because you still got some guys left like Kenny Galladay, Hassan Riddick, some pretty key guys that haven't exactly been signed yet that I was looking forward to them being signed sometime soon. All right. If that happens tomorrow, then yeah, we'll discuss it backstage.
If the Watson trade happens, I know you definitely come.
Oh back. Hell yeah, I might do it by myself. I might just spark it up. I might just spark it up randomly. But unless something big happens tomorrow, it all depends. It really all depends. But again, appreciate all the people in the comment section. Also, all the people that came through this evening. Like I just told Shake, it's questionable as far as us having a pod tomorrow. Probably looking more towards this weekend, this Saturday. But be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button, and most definitely share. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and all other major streaming platforms. This is the Not for Debate. We're up out of here, man.